Today, we talk about Lao Huang dazzling in North Korea's market, selling antiques like candy, negotiations smooth as a slide. Shortly after, Hankai quickly signed the contract with North Korea. It was like a historical mystery. While antique trades flooded in, Lao Huang laughed so hard he could barely close. Lao Huang lived up to North Korea's expectations, successfully turning antiques into dollars. His relationship with the leaders was smoother than milk and cookies. Even the ordinary soldiers were. Everything went so smoothly it felt like filming a fantasy drama. Lao Huang was all excited because he had the chance to get close to Yongbin. Would he uncover some secret files? Once he entered the reactor radius, he could receive insider news, and he had a partner eager to. This partner was not simple. He was Minister Jin, who was always hanging around Director Lai. He was like a loyal little shadow. But Lao Huang wanted to shoot in Yongbin, only to be told, forget it. Yongbin was a no-go zone, and wanting to take a photo was like dreaming to fly. But he didn't give up easily. Instead, he plotted. He pulled a fast one, finding the seemingly enemy special envoy, who might actually be a friend, hinting at buried potential antiquities. Success could have the officers laughing all the way. If you can help me dig, wealth will roll in. He tried hard to get the special envoy excited. So in this circle of friends, Lao Huang blurred the lines between enemy and ally, and in the end, the special envoy agreed, figuring it was worth a shot. The first time on Yongbin, Lao Huang saw everyone looking like they crawled out of mud. Life truly seemed tough everywhere. The special envoy excused himself, taking Director Lai and Minister Jin on an archaeological adventure. An unreliable team. Director Lai gave Lao Huang a pin, saying it symbolized his absolute trust. Lao Huang thought, hey, this must be worth something. Then, on the little path, Lao Huang witnessed a grand food distribution, where everyone looked like they were waiting in line for the restroom. At the time, the famine had claimed hundreds of thousands of lives, and Lao Huang was still less speechless by the scene before him. Minister Jin mysteriously said he would take Lao Huang to get the materials, but their conversation was already overheard by Director Lai. Lao Huang's heart was racing. Lao Huang had a hunch. Quickly used the badge on his chest as a distraction. I totally don't understand, sorry. He wasn't sure if this trick would work, but it had allowed Minister Jin to escape, and Lao Huang secretly celebrated. Meanwhile, at the party in Pyongyang, the atmosphere was the opposite. A band was playing lively guitar music, leaving no one to discuss anything. Director Lai brought his family to the celebration, while Lao Huang was playing the infine card, only to burst with curiosity when they began to eat. Where's Minister Jin? Director Lai merely shrugged. You might not see him again. Lao Huang sought to seize the opportunity and press on with his questions, but Director Li's gaze was as sharp as a knife, and at that very moment, there was a sudden flicker in the electricity, as if to add an extra thrill to the tense atmosphere. I'm not sure, just talking about the exchanges between the North and South, he said coolly. Perhaps Director Lai had guessed his identity, but he valued this cooperation more, thinking it could be the key to open the borders. Secrets were the golden keys. Meanwhile, the South Korean presidential election was like a faucet without water. And Kirby told Lao Huang, no clear evidence, but secrets are still vital. We can only use our old tricks again, but back then, only Lao Huang remained as our informant. He knew it was a prisoner's dilemma for Lao Huang, but the minister said following orders is like drinking water. Whose orders? Lao Huang was furious. The minister explained, of course, it's the state's orders, the orders of the country and the people. He thought, when the state becomes the party's proprietary asset, the crimes become legitimate excuses. When Lao Huang met his superior in the car again, his boss' reaction to the letter was as if struck by lightning. This will tarnish my pure businessman image, and the consequences feel more like a big joke. But he had no choice. Just like his superior, Lao Huang passed the letter to Director Lai, and soon heard the hotel collapsed. 3 days later, he received a message to go back home, but he had no idea what was hidden in the envelope. He felt like he was part of a detective game. So, he arrived early at Director Li's room, pretending to deliver materials. This felt like a game of espionage. After Director Lai hung up, he realized he never told Lao Huang the room number. What a mistake of a mistake. Lao Huang slipped the letter into the fax, faster than lightning, leaving no chance. Just then, a page came through with news that the South Korean staff had arrived, and Lao Huang felt like he was in a grand escape. Luckily, he wasn't noticed, and then he ran downstairs, hearing the negotiation was about to begin. His heart was racing like a bouncing deer. For this election interference, the North couldn't just use simple armed provocations. They had to frighten the South Korean populace like they were watching a horror movie. Lao Huang's superior was smug, and after the legislators took their leave, he closely monitored the subsequent plans like a spectator at a carnival. This was to eliminate any chance of being monitored, while Lao Huang felt like a little detective, narrowing down the listening range, almost like conducting an inspection. His superior said they would use nuclear weapons to attack the South for the best results, and Director Lai looked like he had been doused with a bucket of cold water. This will halt all commercial cooperation, making North-South a mirage. Lao Huang's superior, quite casually, remarked, what's really there to discuss? Director Lai tried hard to oppose. No way. I'm just a negotiating emissary, the decision isn't mine. But the superior took out some paper and wrote a check for $4 million. Director Lai was feeling sire, but all he could do was accept and relay the information. Meanwhile, Huang felt a chill run down his spine as the National Security Department decided to pay for an external attack, all just to maintain their own grip on power. Soon after, those upstairs awaited a North Korean response, while their anticipation clashed sharply. Why doesn't the North want to see him elected? Director Lai was reluctant to answer, but the other legislators didn't hold back. You use fake enemies to brainwash the people and maintain control. If the enemy becomes one of your own, would that create a big mess?